Hello and a huge welcome. This is our very first Power Up in PDHPE session and you're with me, Kell Bell. I am the founder of the Learning Network and we are the go-to space for PDHPE, CAFs, HMS and dance teachers across New South Wales. And in our Power Up PDHPE sessions, we're focusing on primary and secondary PDHPE here in New South Wales and sharing tips and tricks and answering your common questions through our Q&A. So you'll find me here live every Monday, streaming to you via lots of your favorite social media platforms. And you can also post to me any of your questions, what you would actually like me to go live in. So a huge welcome. I cannot wait to share this Power Up PDHPE session with you. So if you are a busy primary school teacher, a busy high school teacher that teaches PDHPE here in New South Wales, you're in for a real treat today. I'm sharing with you something that has been coming up quite a lot in the last 5 weeks. I get to teach teachers around New South Wales. I join them in masterclasses and workshops. We have a number of PDHPE memberships here in New South Wales, and something that comes up a lot is, what is the best way to approach my PDHPE lesson? Because look, at the end of the day, many of us are very time poor, and creating that perfect PDHPE lesson, whether it's 2-year-old lilies in primary school or the big kids in high school, it's really important to set the foundations for a really effective, impactful lesson. And I'm sharing with you those pieces of that puzzle today. So the first thing I'd love for you to do is to think about what's going to be something that will engage your students straight away. That first 5 minutes of your lesson is really crucial. Whether it be your primary school kids or your high school kids, you want to be able to hook them in. Now, I'm not sure if you've read Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess, but this analogy of hooking the kids in straight away is something that stems from his work. Teach Like a Pirate is a great book, great read. And, it enables our kids to really be hooked into that lesson straight away. So I really want you to focus on where are you actually going with all of this in your lesson, and what's one way that you can hook the kids in straight away in that first 5 minutes of the lesson. Now, back at uni, that was probably called like our introduction, how we're going to start the lesson off. It's not always about starting the lesson off by taking the role, but hooking the kids in immediately sets your lesson up for success. So things that you could do to do this, you might find a really engaging clip to show the kids. You might put up something very simple like an image, a still image in the class, or a really captivating quote for the kids to kind of engage in and spark that curiosity before they actually start to dive into the lesson. It could be a podcast snippet or a video clip, or a documentary, a very small snippet of that, something to hook the kids in straight away. Now, the next element of a really great, effective PDHPE lesson for either primary or high school PDHPE is really teaching the kids explicitly. That content knowledge is really important. So this next part of the piece of the puzzle is that knowledge and understanding. So what are we actually teaching them? Where does this fit into the big picture? And how are you going to craft that part of your lesson for it to be really effective, for it to be, using elements of differentiation? How are you going to set that up? Because at the end of the day, the kids still have to be taught explicitly. I know that many of our high school teachers, that's how we're kind of driven. It's really content heavy. But we actually need to teach the kids explicitly the content. Where is it going? Where does this fit within the big picture? Now, this shouldn't be part of your whole lesson. We shouldn't just focus on that. We should be moving to the next element, and that's where we actually get to apply their understanding of what you've just taught them. So I have a really great diagram that I'd love to share with you that shows and encompasses all of these elements. So it's like the pieces of a really effective lesson. So we've got the introduction and the hook, we've got the knowledge part of it, the content knowledge. Now we're going to move to the actual application of that content. I think this is the biggest missing ingredient in schools in New South Wales especially. We teach the content, but then we forget to actually get the kids to apply their understanding of that content. So this is where you get to be really creative. You get to get the kids to actually dive deeper into their content, actually apply what they've just learned. That could be through like a series of matching cards, or maybe establishing some sort of scenario or a situation, inquiry-based learning, maybe a series of, quotes, or a series of statistics or graphs that they then apply their understanding of what they've just been taught. Because a lot of the time when we teach the content explicitly, if we go straight to like, okay, let's check for understanding, we're missing that really crucial part of the piece of the puzzle that gets the kids to apply their understanding. And we know that in education, that's where the gold is. That application is key. Getting the kids to do that hands-on learning is really important. So once we've done that part, we then move to what I call the checking for understanding. So many of us would know it as formative assessment. Dylan, William and Paul Black, we're kind of like the flagship gurus of that. And I know lots of schools in New South Wales have been working on formative assessment for some time now, but it's been around since the 1960s. We need to check that the kids have actually understood what we've just taught them. There's no point in just regurgitating content or just teaching to that textbook, or just getting the kids to, just show what they know through doing a worksheet or doing a colouring in or a crossword. We need to actually get the kids to show us what they know. And that's through doing things like, using like little flashcards, or maybe a mini whiteboard. It might be, getting the kids to go to a different corner of the room, like an A, B, C, or D of the room. And they move to that part of the room according to their response to what they've just learnt. So you're very quickly able to actually check as an educator, have I taught them effectively? Have I actually enabled my kids to learn this content or this knowledge, understanding and skills? And then they're showing us in that checking for understanding part. So that's really crucial. It should take only like 5 or 6 minutes to quickly check in with the kids. Mini whiteboards are my favorite for that. You could even use post-it notes or butcher's paper, graffiti wall, whatever you want to do, paddle pop sticks. Really effective to quickly check in, have they actually understood what you've just taught them? The next part of it, and this is doesn't always have to be here, especially for primary kids, you might then actually get the kids to do some sort of revision, or especially in HSC and at senior level in high school, you might get them to do some sort of exam or assessment type, like a formative assessment, but getting them to do some sort of writing. I really love making literacy part of my lessons. I have been a HSC teacher for the best part of 21 years, and when I was working in schools for 16 of those years, this was one part that many of us who are HSC teachers often would forget about, because you kind of teach the content, you might do some activities, and then the lesson's finished, but have I actually got the kids to do some sort of writing? Technology is great. I'm a big lover of technology, but often we don't have that pen and paper. We don't get them to actually, write what they've thought. It could be even in primary schools, it might be some sort of creative writing piece, or it could be a persuasive text, or a peel paragraph that we get, for them to then write. Okay, here's what I know. Let's kind of check it against a little rubric, or maybe our learning intentions. Have we actually learnt what we've just kind of covered for the whole lesson? And at senior level, and maybe even in our stage 4 and 5 kids, we might get them to do some sort of writing, or especially at HSC level, that checking for understanding. After that comes that revision question, like are we actually able to retain and write what we've actually learned? So let's quickly unpack those 5 pieces of the puzzle. We have our hook and our introduction. We have our content, so actually teaching the content. We have our application of that content. We then have checking for understanding, and then we have our wrap up. And our wrap up could be through like revision questions, or it might be some sort of literacy writing piece that we do, with our younger kids. So I hope that you enjoyed our very first Power Up in PDHP session. I'll be coming live across all of our social media platforms on a Monday, probably at 10 o'clock. I was a little bit late today, but if you would love to hear more of these tips, or if you love today's session, head to Instagram, send me a DM with the word Power Up, and we can have a conversation about what I've shared today, or comment below and let me know what you think. If you would love to work with us further, thelearnnet.com is where you can find us. But thanks so much, everyone, and have the most amazing week. I'll see you again soon.